For those of you who can't stand, could I ask you to stand for the national anthem?
Inspector Clark. The man I was talking to, somebody says Victor was here. 101. Am I right? I'm just past the halfway mark. You believe that, you believe that. Well, Victor, I'm led to believe that you were a member of the RAF. Alright. So there's really only one tune we can play for you. And I don't think you have to get up and march. Alright. So ladies and gentlemen, what could be more fitting than the RAF March Past? No, I can't keep it now because we're near done, as my granny used to say. Well, so we brought you away back from Waterloo, right up to the Somme. We've taken you over the Normandy beaches. We've had the RAF March Past. Well, in 1914 March, we played it at the beginning. There was a few wee songs in there. Well, we're going to play a wee selection of stuff that would have been sung probably on V.E. Day. The likes of the Army, the Navy and the Air Force. Kiss Me Goodnight, Sergeant Major. Run Rabbit Run. So if you know any of the words, don't bother singing. So this is a wee made a wee tunes that would probably been sung 80 years ago today. Something called Stand By Your Beds. to play that medley years and years ago during summer concerts, and I got to the stage, I was absolutely stunned listening to it, and we took it out. Did you enjoy that? Do you think we should keep it in for this summer? I think it would be very appropriate. Okay. Well, we have come to the last item on our programme. Thank goodness he's still awake. It normally gets a reasonable response, right? We have come to the last item on our programme. Why does the word pathetic come to mind? We'll do it again. We have come to the last item of our programme. Now we're sucking diesel. Anyway, now we need a wee bit of audience participation in this. What's your yo's like? Now that's nothing to do with sheep, by the way. Right? Or a big yo or something like that. Can we practice after 3 a good big yo? Right, 1, 2, 3. The wheel at the back was the loudest. Right, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Right, we're going. Right. So you probably have worked out what the next or the last piece is going to be. There's a certain point in this tune where you will be required to do that. Right? And I will point at you. So you'll know when to do it, right? And the best of it is you're going to get 2 goes at it. And they both have to be as good, right? None of the first one a bit of a and the second one out. They both have to be really, really good. So you've probably worked out what this march is going to be. Mightn't be the greatest piece of music in the world, but it's one of the most popular. The March Past of the Royal Irish Rangers, or it was years ago, but now the Royal Irish Rangers, the very famous Killaloe.
you very much. It is a joy to be here tonight. The White Cliffs of Dover is a popular World War II song composed in 1941 by Walter Kent to lyrics by Nat Burton. Made famous in England by Vera Lynn's 1942 version, it was one of her best known recordings and among the most popular World War II tunes. The writers of this song were American, and they were unaware of the fact that there are no bluebirds in Dover. They adapted the bluebirds to signify cheerfulness, prosperity, and hope. Another representation of the bluebird can be interpreted as the American pilots flying from the English outfields, signifying the Allied planes. Also, the bluebirds were also a representation of the RAF uniforms. The most important meaning behind adapting this bird was to show that no matter what the British go through during the war, they will continue to keep flying. Run, Rabbit, Run is a 1939 song written by Noel Gay and Ralph Butler. It was especially popular in World War II as they poked fun at the Germans by changing a line in the song to run, Adolf, run, run, run. Winston Churchill was apparently very fond of this song and had often been heard singing along to it. Square is a British romantic song written in 1939 and published in 1940. Berkeley Square is a large leafy square in Mayfair, London. The Ritz Hotel referred to in the song is just outside Mayfair. The nightingale, a migrant songbird, is celebrated in literature and music for the beauty of its song. It favours rural habitats and is unlikely to be heard in London. Hallelujah that I heard in the past year, and I thought the words were so powerful. And so really, as I sing this, reflect on the words. You packed your bags and shut the door. You crossed the sea to find the war. You didn't know just what would happen to you. Stepped in the dirt, boots on the ground, and gunfire was the only sound. And to yourself you whispered, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. days awash in the haze of red, the blood, the mud, too many did. Your weary soul was crying, Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. Too late to help you hear a shot. You know you're in a deadly spot. You never thought the day would come, now did you? Your brother falls down to the ground. The enemy is all around, and from your lips you scream, oh, Hallelujah, 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 Everywhere I go, my daddy says, did you sing that Vera Lynn one tonight? So this one's always for my daddy, his favourite song, We'll Meet Again. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know where, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep
are aware, we're honoured this evening to have a Second World War veteran with us this evening, Mr. Victor Clark, who served with the Royal Air Force. And we have a small gift that we would like to present to him. And it would be most fitting if the cadets from the RAF who were on parade this evening were to come up and make that presentation. Okay. I'll bring the white mic with me, because he almost escaped. So from one generation to another, thank you very much, sir. So may I ask you to remain silent until Victor leaves. Thank you very much, sir, for your service.
Thank you very much. I'd love to sing another very popular song from war times. Pack up your troubles. You all know it. So here we go. Don't be afraid. Pack up your troubles in your own big bag. Smile, smile, smile. Smile is elusive, but tonight you'll find. Smile always has the style. Want to use some worrying, it never was worthwhile. So
Pack up the troubles in your own big bag and smile, smile,
there's no need to be in there. I'll send you. And smile, smile, smile. Smile is elusive, but tonight you'll find. Smile always has a style. Want to use some worrying, it never was. You're amazing. Pack up your troubles in your old big bag and smile is elusive, but tonight you'll find. Smile always has the style. Want to use some worrying, it never was worthwhile. So
your troubles in your own big bag and smile, smile,
I knew you wouldn't let me down. I would love to sing you one of my favourite hymns that's often sang at Remembrance, Abide With Me. Abide with me. Let's pause in the darkness March number 1. At the time, King Edward thought that the tune would make a good song, and so he had words written to it, which was performed at his coronation. Since then, the song has been performed at many events across the world. At the end of World War II, Winston Churchill stood on the balcony and addressed the crowds below, and he encouraged them to join in singing this wonderful song to celebrate the end of the war. So tonight in Belfast, I asked if you were able to stand with me as we sing it one more time.